So this is my video blog of the Big Four show, September 14th, 2011 at Yankee Stadium. For those who don't know, the Big Four are the Big Four thrash bands of the 80s, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax. They call them Big Four because in the 80s they were the four thrash bands. Around 86, 87, Anthrax put out Among the Living, Megadeth put out Peace Sells But Who's Buying, Slayer released Rain and Blood, and Metallica released Master of Puppets, which arguably are the four best albums by each band. I would say that's true, except for Slayer. My favorite album by Slayer is probably South of Heaven or Seasons of the Abyss. It's kind of a tie. Anyway, so this was an awesome trip. This kind of chronicles what I did over the trip. This is us in D.C. heading out. Never taken a train, never been to New York. So just the fact that I was going to go to New York, see Metallica, and just experience the whole thing was quite amazing. So that was a shot from inside the train heading into New York. This is arriving at Penn Station in New York, kind of mapping out our day. We headed out to 8th Avenue. This was the first shot I saw when I walked outside New York. I don't know that building name or what it is, but it was pretty awesome. So this is us standing outside Madison Square Garden. Penn Station's kind of tucked under Madison Square Garden for anyone who doesn't know that. So these are a couple of shots outside Madison Square Garden. Kind of just figuring out where we're going for the day. We walk down 8th Avenue. We know there's a pizza joint down there we wanted to check out, and of course I gotta get pizza if I'm in New York. So this place was called New York Pizza Suprema. I read some good things about it online, so I decided to check it out. This is just a couple shots of, New York, walking down to this pizza joint. So we get in the pizza joint, grab a couple slices, and I gotta say, awesome pizza, really good pizza. Sauce, cheese, crust, everything's great. So we started heading down New York. These are a couple of shots, just walking toward Times Square. We did get stopped at one point walking into Times Square by a couple of rap artists who were kind of hawking their CD saying, gotta buy our stuff, man, gotta support local music. So got swindled out of a few bucks there, but no big deal. Not like we got robbed or anything or mugged. So overall, New York experience, did not experience any mugging, so that's good. A couple more shots of New York walking into Times Square. This is Tyler. We're not ones for taking each other's photos, so these are about the only shots I could get of him. Of course, having kids, got to go to Toys R Us, check out everything within there. I also heard it was, the Mecca Toys R Us. You have to see this Toys R Us. So, silver band outside Toys R Us. Not sure what he does, but he was there, so I took a shot. So these are a few shots from inside the Toys R Us. For those who haven't been there, there's a giant Ferris wheel that goes up all 3 levels. We did not go on the Ferris wheel, but I took a shot of it just, to document. Cool Jurassic Park display. They have a T-Rex there that moves and kind of roars a little bit, so that's pretty cool. Went over to the Transformers section, checked out all the Transformers because I'm a geek like that. Also had to take a shot of Superman because, again, I'm a geek like that. But, when am I going to be in New York next time in Toys R Us? So, gotta get all the shots I can, right? Optimus Prime, the Man, I got a shot of him, of course. For all those geeky Thundercat fans, all my friends out there that are Thundercats fans, that was a shot for you guys. And then this is a shot of me in Times Square, representing the Metallica shirt, devil horns, all that good stuff. Awesome, though. I mean, just there was so much that we could have done in New York in Times Square that, we figured we're just going to hit a few sites because I'm sure we'll be back again soon enough. So I think you could probably spend a week in New York and still not see all there is to see in Times Square. So we just took in all we could with the time that we had. This was Tuesday, by the way, the day before the concert. We arrived Tuesday around 2 o'clock. So we headed into the Nintendo store, the World Nintendo Store in New York, which is a pretty cool store. If you've never been to New York, or if you've never been to the Nintendo store in New York, I highly recommend it if you're a video game fan. I mean, I didn't own a lot of Nintendo stuff. We were Sega people, but we did own some Game Boys and We got the Nintendo 64 when it came out, so that was cool to see all that. Headed through up north through Times Square, saw the NBC Studios, saw the Magnolia Bakery, which for SNL fans, they have all the bomb frostings. Radio City Music Hall, of course, had to check that out. I had to head up and see the late show set rather, at Sullivan Theater, because Dave Letterman is still the king of late night. No one better. Yes, that does say Charlie O's Bar and Grill and Bar. I don't quite understand that, but that's fine. Obama condoms, for those in need. Just walking through New York, you'll see stuff like that and hear stuff like that, and it's just hilarious to me. Just the things you'll hear and see and pick up on walking through New York, it's part of the experience. So we had Bubblegum Shrimp Company for dinner, which is really good. If you haven't been, I recommend it as well. Awesome food. That is a Brooklyn Lager, which is excellent beer. So as we left Bubba Gump, we did get to see New York at night, which is one thing I wanted to do, which is really cool. Got to see everything lit up, which is really nice. So then we got in our cab, headed back. Got to quick shout out to the Excitable Ones, 311. So we get back to our hotel and I see this and I'm like, whoa, is that our TV? No, that's a microwave dummy. So we were just kind of exhausted. That's the loot that I got for the boys. Pokemon stuff, of course. They all loved it. So then we headed to New York in the morning. Got to Yankee Stadium around 10 a.m. because we heard that there was an Anthrax pre-party and we weren't sure what time the Hard Rock Cafe was going to open. We read online it was going to be 11 a.m. so we got there at 10 just to be sure, and it turned out not to be until 11:30, so we had some time to kind of hang out outside and just wait. So these are a few shots of Hard Rock Cafe right outside, and surprisingly it wasn't as crowded as we thought it would be at that time. But they opened at 11:30. We went inside around that time, and they were doing an Anthrax pre-party where you were able to buy the new Anthrax CD, and if you bought the new Anthrax CD, you got a wristband, which got you back to a meet and greet after their set, which was really cool. That's High Pitch Eric from the Howard Stern Show, for those who know. So that's me with my wristband and my Anthrax CD, ready to do the meet and greet after their set. So after we got that, it was about 2:30 and the doors were opening, so we got in line. Surprisingly, not that long a line. I mean, we got in probably within about 15-20 minutes, so by about 2:45 we were inside. That's an awesome shot of panoramic of the inside of Yankee Stadium. A really cool stadium, really cool environment. This kind of shows how close we were to the stage. An Anthrax set. There's Charlie Benate's drum set. A really cool set. Probably the best drummer in metal today, or could be of all time. Amazing drummer. So then Anthrax takes the stage. It's about 4 o'clock. They hit the stage and open with Fight 'Em Till You Can't, which is a song off their new album Worship Music, which by the way is an awesome CD. If you're a fan of Anthrax, any era, I highly recommend the new CD. It's one of their best by far. The song In the End could be one of the best Anthrax songs ever. It's got one of the best choruses in metal I've ever heard. It's awesome song. So I highly recommend that album. But they played a really good mix of old stuff. Obviously they played all the stuff that Joey sang back in the day. Didn't do anything that John Bush sang, which is cool. I mean, I hopefully I will see them in November and they'll play some stuff off the John Bush era albums, which would be nice, because there are some really good songs off those albums. But this was all, pre-John Bush, mostly stuff off Among the Living, State of Euphoria, Spreading the Disease, and the new album. So, really good set, high energy, and it was a good opportunity to get some good shots because it was the daytime, so it's a little easier to get shots in that time slot. So they ended their set, and we headed over to the Hard Rock to do the meet and greet, and found out they weren't allowing cameras, which was kind of a bummer, but I did snap a few shots with my camera phone of Joey. This is the best I could get, but they were all really cool people, really nice guys. Only got to talk to them for a couple minutes, but it was great to meet them. This is a line for the beer, but we were in line to get water. We didn't know it was just beer, so we got to the front. We were kind of pissed. That's Slayer's stage getting ready, and then Slayer hit the stage. Awesome set by Slayer. They put on a great show. mostly a lot of stuff from all their albums. They put on, they mix it up quite a bit, which is really nice. But I mean, I gotta say they're on their A game for sure. That they've got tons of energy. Tom Araya's vocals probably sound better than I can remember, which is impressive considering their age. And I gotta say, Kerry King, his early solos never really impressed me. It was a lot of just kind of, fast playing and watch how fast I can play. But I gotta say, he's improved greatly over the years, and his playing at this show was impressive, really, really great. Every guy in the band is a really good musician. Again, Dave Lombardo, another one of the best drummers in metal. It's a toss-up between him and Charlie Benante, who is the best drummer in metal, if you ask me. I mean, they're both amazing. So it was quite impressive to see what he does at his age. Cool shot there of Kerry King with Tom Araya on the big screen. Highlights from their set for me were probably Silent Scream, South of Heaven. Of course, South of Heaven and Season of the Abyss are probably my favorite albums, so it was good to hear songs off those albums. They didn't play the song Seasons in the Abyss, which was kind of a surprise, but again, with an hour-long set, I guess you can't play all the hits. But, of course, they played Raining Blood. This was a couple of shots right before Raining Blood with the red lights. So they put on an awesome show. Great set by Slayer. We did miss Megadeth because we were meeting Anthrax at the time, but that's not a big deal to me. Their set was kind of shortened because of Dave Mustaine was going through some issues with his shoulder, so it's not a big deal. This is Metallica's stage being set up, getting ready to hit the stage, and the excitement level at this point was just through the roof. Took a couple shots of what it looked like behind me, just getting ready for Metallica to come on, and then Metallica hits the stage. Awesome set. We had really nice spot. It was about 9 o'clock at this point. They opened with Creeping Death, went into From the Bell Tolls. A lot of stuff off of Ride the Lightning, which was cool. But yeah, awesome set. I mean, it's Metallica. To me, Metallica is on a different level, a higher level than any other band. I mean, this was the big four, and it was really cool to see these bands all play together. To be at this show, once in a lifetime opportunity. But to me, Metallica, like I said, they're on a different level, a higher level than any other band. So it could have been Metallica, Iron Maiden, Pantera, and whoever. It doesn't matter. Metallica would have taken the show from me. So, but again, great show. The only disappointment to me was the set was pretty much identical to the show, the Big Four show they did in Indio, California. Aside from the encore songs, the set was, I think, identical. So, a little disappointing. I would have liked to hear some more stuff, maybe something different off of Master of Puppets, like Disposable Heroes or Leper Messiah. Maybe throw in, Short of Straw or something different off of Justice for All. But, I'm not going to complain. It was an awesome set. I like to see Metallica in the round, like when they play stadiums, or when they play arenas, and you can see them in the round. But they did some really cool things with their stage setup here, with the stadium setup. Some really cool pyrotechnics, of course, during one and Blackened. But they had like a split screen going on. They had some really cool camera work with the cameras, what they were doing with the screen. So they kind of took that stadium stage setup to a different level, which is something I always love seeing from Metallica, what they do with their stages. And the setup was no different. They blew me away. Highlights from this set, I'd have to say Blackened was probably my favorite song, but simply because of what they did during that song. They had the pyrotechnics like they do every time, but they also had kind of a laser show, which at first sounds like, well, a laser show. That's, what is that, like out of the 80s or something? But no, the way they did it was just amazing. You look it up on YouTube, look up Blackened, Yankee Stadium, Big Four, and you'll see it's quite impressive what they did. Really cool. But yeah, Blackened, Orion, getting to hear Orion. Oh, that's Jeff and George from Virginia Fuel. Of course, they hit the rail, so they got on the big screen a few times. But yeah, hearing Orion for the first time live, I've never heard that in person. You know, I've seen videos, I've heard it from other shows, but never seen it live. So that was awesome to hear. And of course, Rob nailed the solo. If anyone can represent Cliff, Rob does a great job. So, but yeah, awesome set, awesome show. I mean, this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I'm so glad I got to do this. I mean, just to go to New York for the first time, get to see all of New York, and get to see these four bands together at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I couldn't pass this up. So this was a couple of shots of the laser show that I was talking about from Blackened, which is, again, awesome. Look it up on YouTube. You'll be impressed. But, you know, I've seen Metallica, I think, 16 times now, and they never disappoint, and this was no different. The sound was amazing. Vocally, James sounded awesome. Kirk nailed every solo. I mean, the only time they messed up a little bit was during All Nightmare Long, but otherwise, great set. That was the one shot I could get of the big four, because my battery was dying on my camera, so, and that's the last shot of the band. Overall, awesome show. This is some of the stuff I got there. I got one of the big black balls that falls during Seek and Destroy, signed CD from Anthrax, 2 shirts, and the wristbands. So, you know what? Awesome show. I can't wait to see Metallica again, and that's my report of the Big Four. September 14th, 2011, at Yankee Stadium, New York City.